When I left my village in Honduras, I never imagined what I would find along the way. We were used to stories of violence and drug trafficking, but nothing I had heard prepared me for what I saw in the jungle. We were a group of 10 people, each with a different story, but all with the same goal: to reach the United States. The journey started off well. We left the village early with light backpacks, and the guide we hired, a man named Abel, assured us that he knew the path well. Abel was strong and spoke little, but it was clear he had experience with these crossings. We walked for hours under the scorching sun, but when night fell and we entered the dense jungle, something changed. The air became heavier, and the humidity clung to our skin like an invisible blanket. The sounds of the jungle, which had once been soothing, began to feel strange, as if something was following us. On the third day, things got worse. While we rested near a river, Abel ordered us to be silent. He was listening carefully to something we couldn't hear. His face, usually serious, now showed a mix of concern and fear. "What's wrong?" I asked, trying to hide my own anxiety. Abel didn't respond. He simply raised his hand, signaling for me to keep quiet, and with a sharp gesture, indicated that we should keep walking. No one questioned the order, but we could all feel the tension in the air. We knew something wasn't right. We walked for hours, avoiding conversation. Every so often, Abel would look back, as if expecting to see something among the trees. That night, when we stopped to rest, we heard a growl. It was low and guttural, like that of a large animal. But there was something more. Something about that growl sounded wrong, as if it came from a throat that didn't belong to any known creature. "It's the beast," Abel whispered, staring into the darkness. No one dared to ask what he meant by the beast, but we were all terrified. None of us slept that night. We sat in silence, our eyes wide open, watching the shadows move between the trees. Every now and then, we heard branches breaking in the distance, followed by that terrifying growl. At dawn, we continued walking, but Abel grew more and more uneasy. We knew we were being followed, but not by ordinary animals. It was something bigger, something that didn't belong to this world. That afternoon, as we crossed a clearing in the jungle, I saw it. At first, I thought it was a jaguar, but when I looked closer, I realized it was much bigger. The creature was crouched among the bushes, its dark fur almost blending with the shadows. It had the shape of a feline, but its eyes, those eyes were human. A pair of yellow orbs that gleamed with dark, malicious intelligence. Before I could warn the others, the beast lunged at us with surprising speed. Abel shouted for us to run, but one of the guys, Pedro, wasn't fast enough. The creature caught him with monstrous ease. Its claws were enormous, and in a matter of seconds, it dragged him into the undergrowth. Pedro's screams echoed through the jungle, but no one could do anything. The beast moved like a ghost, swift and deadly. We ran until our legs couldn't carry us anymore, but we knew we hadn't escaped. Abel led us to a giant tree and told us to climb. We spent the night in that tree, trembling with fear. We could hear the beast prowling below, growling and moving through the bushes. Sometimes it seemed to wander off, but then it would return, as if it was playing with us. No one slept. No one spoke. At dawn, the beast was gone, but the damage was already done. We had lost Pedro, and we all knew we were nothing more than prey in that jungle. Abel told us the beast was a Nawal, a man who had sold his soul to gain the power of animals. He told us the jungle was full of creatures like that, and that we weren't the first to be hunted. We reached the border days later, exhausted and traumatized. Of the 10 people who began the journey, only 6 of us made it. Abel left us before we crossed, saying he couldn't continue with us. I never heard from him again, but sometimes, when I'm alone in the dark, I can feel those yellow eyes watching me from the shadows. I know the beast is still out there, lurking, waiting. And every time I hear a growl at night, I know it's near. No matter how far I've come from that jungle, I will never be able to escape it.